Hi friends, welcome back to Lidsmania. Today I'll be discussing some of the most important questions of classical literary criticism for the June 2023 NET. This video will be focusing on two prominent writers of classics, namely Horace and Longinus, as you all can see on the screen. And those of you who want to see the part 1 of this video, which is regarding Plato and Aristotle, they can watch the previous video. So let's just start. So, as you all know, that Horace was a Roman poet. He was a renowned satirist and a critic as well. And he has been famously known for his seminal work, Ars Poetica, in the field of literary criticism. So, here comes the first question, that how many epistles are there in Horace's Ars Poetica? So, Ars Poetica is a poem which is written in epistle form. So, how many epistles are there in his work, Ars Poetica? And the options are 2, 3, 5 and 6, and the correct answer is 3. Horace's Ars Poetica consists of 3 epistles, and the other name for Horace's Ars Poetica is Epistle to Pisos. The second question is, which of the following classical writers gave the title as Ars Poetica? So Horace did not himself name this work as Ars Poetica. It was named by someone else, and the options are A. Horace, B. Longinus, C. Quintilian, and D. Augustus. And the correct answer is Quintilian. In his famous work Institutio Oratio has named Horace's work as Ars Poetica. Before that, it was just known as a work written by Horace, but Quintilian has named it as Ars Poetica. The third question is, Ars Poetica was firstly translated into English by whom? And the options are Thomas Dekker, William Bryant, Thomas Drant, and Ben Jonson. Most of you might be thinking that it's Ben Jonson, but actually it's Thomas Drant. Ben Jonson has also translated it, but he has translated after Thomas Drant has translated it in 1566, and after that Ben Jonson translated it in 1640. And here comes the next question. Which of the following is not a part of Ars Poetica? So Horace basically divided Ars Poetica in 3 different parts, and you have to find out which is the odd one out here. So the options are option A Poesis, option B Poema, option C Poeta, and option D Poetica. And the correct answer is Poetica, because the rest 3, the Poesis, which means subject matter, the second is Poema, which means the form, and the Poeta, which means the poet. So Poetica is something which Horace did not discuss. So rest 3 is discussed by him in detail in his famous work Ars Poetica. Let's jump to next question. Which of the following writer was highly influenced by Horace's Ars Poetica? And the options are Sir Philip Sidney, option A, option B John Dryden, option C Alexander Pope, and option D Dr. Johnson. And many people will think that it's Dr. Johnson, but it's not. The correct answer is Alexander Pope. He was highly influenced by Horace's Ars Poetica. So let's jump to next question. Who praised Horace, stating that his precepts teach but his works inspire? This was a quotation given by one of the famous writers, and you have to find out what's the correct answer is. So option A is Longinus, option B is Quintilian, his friend, option C John Dryden, and option D Alexander Pope. And the correct answer is Pope. As I already stated that Pope was highly influenced by Horace's Ars Poetica, so it is he who said that his precepts teach but his works inspire. Next question. Horatian Odes are a collection of 4 books written in which language? I have already stated you that Horace was a renowned poet, he was a renowned satirist, and he was a critic as well. So his odes has been very famous, and he has written it in which language? Option A is Latin, option B Roman, option C French, option D English. And the correct answer is Latin. Most of you might be thinking that since he was a Roman, he might have written in Roman language, but actually he has written in Latin language. So let's jump to next question. What does Horace mean by purple patch? This term has been famously asked many times in net as well, that what does the term purple patch denote? And the options are grand subject matter, great diction, an overly elaborate piece of work, and a noble piece of work. And the correct answer is the correct answer is option C, which is an overly elaborate piece of work. So Horace warns the poets not to use purple patch in their work. He warns them that do not over ornament your work, do not fill it with a lot of ornamentation so that it loses its charm and vigor. So here are some quick revision tips that who said what. So aim of poetry is to teach is said by Plato. Aim of poetry is to delight is said by Aristotle. Aim of poetry is to teach and delight is said by Horace. And aim of poetry is to attain sublimity is said by Longinus. And here comes Longinus, the great renowned Greek poet. So the first question is on the Sublime. As you all know that it has been famously attributed to Longinus, and it's a most important piece of work in the history of classical literary criticism. And the question is, on the Sublime is originally written in Greek under which title? So what was the original title of this work? It was not originally written as the On the Sublime. And the options are Peribethos, Peribethos, Perihypos, and Perihypsos. It's a little bit tricky, and the correct answer is Perihypsos. This is the original title in which Longinus has written, and it was translated into English by famous renowned writer Joseph Hall. Let's jump to next question. The startling and amazing is more powerful than the charming and persuasive is a quotation from. So these lines have been asked multiple times in various exams, in the state exams or in NET or GATE as well. And the options are A. Horace, B. Longinus, C. Plato, and D. Aristotle. And the correct answer is Longinus. Obviously, we are discussing Longinus's On the Sublime. So this line is from Longinus's On the Sublime. The third question is On the Sublime was written as a response to him. So someone has already criticized Longinus, and as a response to that, he has written On the Sublime. And the options are Aristotle, Horace, Quintilian, Caecilius of Chalcate. And the correct answer is Caecilius of Chalcate. He has actually mocked him. He was a Sicilian rhetorician and he has mocked him, and that's why he has written him as a response to Caecilius of Chalcate. The fourth question is, to whom did Longinus dedicate his treatise On the Sublime? And the options are Terentianus, Horace, Quintilian, Caecilius of Chalcate. And the correct answer is Terentianus. He dedicated On the Sublime to him. The fifth question is, what does Longinus meant by the term sublime? And the options are grandeur of thoughts, lofty cast of mind, echo of greatness of spirit and soul, and D, emotion of a writer. And this is a repeated question asked multiple times in NET and GATE as well. The correct answer is echo of greatness of spirit or soul, C option. Many of you might be thinking that grandeur of thought or lofty cast of mind might be true, but C echo of greatness of spirit or soul is the correct answer. Next question. Of all the five sources, as you all know that he has laid down five sources to attain sublimity in a work of art. Of all the five sources laid down by Longinus, what is the most important source according to him? And the options are grandeur of thought, passion or emotion, schemata, that is figure of speech, traces, that is noble diction, harmony in composition. And the correct answer is grandeur of thought. According to him, this is the most important source to attain sublimity in a work of art. Next question. Who called Longinus the first romantic poet? Options are John Dryden, William Wordsworth, R. Scott James, and D. Walter Scott. And the correct answer is R. Scott James called Longinus as the first romantic poet. Next question. According to Longinus, sublimity is the dash of the soul through the reconciliation of poetic inspiration and rhetorical mastery of the writer. So this is one of the most famous lines of Longinus's on the Sublime. And the options are A. Dramatic upliftment, B. Describing upliftment, C. Aesthetic upliftment, and D. None of these. So as all of you know that on the Sublime was a treatise on aestheticism as well, where he talks about how to attain sublimity in a work of art. So the correct option is option C, aesthetic upliftment. Next question. On the Sublime is written in which form? We have already discussed about Horace's Ars Poetica, but on the Sublime is written in which form? A. Letter form, B. Prose, C. Diary, and D. Dialogues. And the correct answer is it is written in letter form. So that's it for now. I thought these are the most important questions for the next June 2023 NET exam. So that's all. Do let me know your score. Thank you very much.